My name is Mita Sylvia. I'm working as a supervisor and I'm 26 years old. Growing up as a child, I experienced reactive attachment disorder because my mom got divorced with my dad and she went back to Rwanda, and I lived with my dad for a few years and then he passed on. So I grew up with different relatives, and then due to lack of attachment to someone specifically, I lacked that attachment. So I ended up with that disorder, which has affected me greatly as a person. Reactive attachment disorder is forming unhealthy relationship with other people, mostly boyfriends. Some get like too attached to their boyfriends or specifically to other people, but not with the relatives or with the parents. It's a disorder mostly found in children, but we have signs in adults as well. Or if you don't get help, it can go as far as it can you can go as far as you can with your disorder. But if you seek psychological help, psychological treatment, probably you can do away with it. It is caused due to lack of parental affection or parental love, or absence of parents, or sometimes death of parents, or sometimes lack of getting someone to attach to. I've lived with disorder. It's not easy to live with, but I've struggled the whole of my life to live with it. But it has a lot of effects. For example, you get too attached to people that even when you're hurt, you don't leave them or you don't walk away. It's like, for example, if you're in a relationship and you're too attached to someone, you don't walk away because you're so attached to that person. It's like you shift your attachment from that one that you never got from your parents to someone else. So it affects you greatly. Others go even into abusive relationship just because they don't want to go to let go of the people that they are too attached to. I've had several experiences with disorder. For example, I once dropped out of school and ran away with my boyfriend. By that time, I was in senior 2. Yes, I was so attached to him that I ended up not listening to the people that I was living with. So I messed up. I went out of school. Thank God I never did drugs, but I went to clubs. What disturbed me the most is I wasted most of my years. Like by the time, I would used to be in class studying, I was out doing something else. So I wasted my years doing silly things because of disorder, because I was looking for that attachment that I never got with my parents. So I found it in my boyfriend. So I wasted a lot of years trying to find the attachment. So I went through the school. I went to senior 6, I finished. I went to campus. So it is now when I'm working and experiencing certain things, like the insecurities, like the broken relationships, because of my trusting issues, that I've come to realize that there's something wrong. And then I've been growing up seeing people and children with disorder, mostly like children who refuse to go to school, children who are disobedient at home, children who detach and they don't want to know about the world. So I've grown up seeing these things, and I've come to realize that it is a disorder though most parents don't pay attention to it, but it is a disorder. When you sit down and you analyze the whole situation, it is not something that you do willingly. It is something that is pushing you behind. So I come to realize that, I'm not normal. Maybe I'm not like any other kids, because when I get too attached, I get too attached to someone and to something. I was once reading a book. It's called, I don't remember the title, but it's Not My Way. So that book, when I was reading that book, I came to realize that the experience that the writer was going through, it's actually the same experiences that I was going through. And then I do a lot of research. So I was on internet doing research, and I came across all these kind of disorder. That is when I got to know about the disorder. I'm not a doctor, but through the research and through the reading, I got to know about the disorder, and I discovered myself that I had it. It has brought me so many insecurities. I failed in relationships because of that disorder. The insecurities, I can't, I'm also experiencing trusting issues. I don't seem to trust anyone because of that disorder. I'm trying to fight it as time goes, but I'm human. I keep on failing.
Welcome to Bahati, talking about real issues that are affecting you as an individual. Insights about financial and personal growth, plus better relationships. And now, Bahati.
Yes, we're back with the life-changing conversations. Transformation is what we want to share, and growth is what we want to have together. So whenever we're having some of these discussions, I don't want you to be outside of them. I don't want you to stay on the fence. And I don't want you to feel like that's touching someone else. No, I want you to be able to embrace it, because in growth, you don't just get to be influenced, but you also influence others. So that is what I want us to do in this conversation. I'm Bahati Hilda Sabiti, and today we have Slivia or Suvia Mutesi. And this is a story, or this is something that I feel touches so many of us when it comes to attachment styles, because some of us don't know what our attachment styles are. Some of us know, but some of us don't know the effects, and we don't know how it affects the relationships that we have with other people, whether colleagues or intimate relationships or just random stranger relationships. But there is always an attachment style that is affecting, or that is a driving force to that relationship that you're having. And that is the conversation we're going to have today. Hi.
Hello.
Always beaming with a smile. So Sylvia, when we talk about attachment styles, because we want them to bring people in, for them to be able to find themselves. I know that so many of them are going to find themselves in your story, and some of them are going to find out that they're actually living a different life, or some of them are going to find out that, oh, I've been on a healing journey and I think I'm getting better. So I want us to be able to move together on this journey. What time in your life did you come to actually put a finger onto what the problem was and say, this is my problem?
The time I was done with my education or campus. Okay. Yes. Actually, when I'm working, when I'm in the field working, yes, okay, that's when I come to realize that I think I have a problem.
What sparked off the realization? Because there must have been a trigger of some sort that sparked off that.
Of course, I always see something that doesn't add up, and that there is something that doesn't add up. Yeah.
Like a repetitive pattern.
Yes. Yeah. Like my reaction towards some things. Yeah. So I always know that there is something maybe not adding up somewhere.
Especially in relationships.
Yes, especially in relationships.
Okay. So had you gone through a heartbreak, or had something happened, or was someone moving away from your life, or were you making a decision to move away? Because that could trigger you thinking, I think I've been overreacting, or I think I've been... What exactly was the switch?
It started way back when I was younger, but of course I didn't have how can I say? Maybe I didn't have the
Enough
knowledge,
knowledge
yes,
and the
about yes
exposure.
about the affection reactive disorder. So, but when I grow up, I started reading, I started researching, so I came to know about the disorder.
But you came to know about the disorder after you discovered the patterns in your life.
Yes.
So you were looking for an answer
Yeah.
to something, okay?
Yes. So I came to know about the disorder because of my relationships, on and off relationships. So that's when I came to know that, yeah, there's something wrong somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before that, did you look at how this formulation came about? Because after you try to discover some answers, then you're trying to find out, where did this come from? How did I get to this place? But before we even go back to where it comes from, I want the viewers or the people that are following to understand what were the telltale signs that you could clearly point at and say, this is evidence that I have this attachment style.
Yes. Overreacting.
Okay.
Overreacting and trust issues. How can I say? Being not so attached to people.
Okay.
Like you don't care. Yes.
You don't care whether the relationship is on or it's off.
Yes.
You just move on swiftly to another thing.
Yes.
But again, you're always looking for a relationship.
Of course.
Because it's possible someone will say, then if you didn't care, then why were you in a relationship? You should have stayed out of a relationship. But the attachment demands that you're in a relationship. So even after you get out of a relationship, you're stumbling into another one.
Yes.
But without the knowledge of how to make it better.
Yeah.
But it's the same you that is being transferred to other relationships, overreacting, mistrusting. Okay.
Yeah. So those things made me realize that, yes, somewhere I have a problem. So,
you know, someone can say, and I just want us to bring it out, because someone can say, but all of us in relationships mistrust, because most people do mistrust. But again, this kind of mistrust, I want us to be able to explain it better for someone to know that if your attachment style is the reactive one, then it goes even a notch higher than just being mistrusting. There's a general belief of, I mistrust so-and-so, and then you let it go. But there is you tiptoeing, wanting to snoop and to see what is actually happening in their lives. Those are two different ones. So which one is it?
Actually, mistrust, everyone has that mistrust. But our mistrust is way above than any other thing. Like, you just don't trust people. It's not specifically in relationship, but we just don't trust people.
Generally.
Yes, generally. And then the overreaction, you overthink, you believe maybe someone is doing this. Our mistrust is beyond. It's not this normal mistrust that everyone has.
So it's like it's self-imposed.
Yes.
And then you process it, you believe it, you think about it, you even draw pictures.
And then you react.
And you tend to believe it.
Of course.
It's not the mistrust of saying that, you know what, I don't know anything about it, so let me let it go. But that kind of overreaction comes from a place of, if you're going to attack someone, actually you attack. You don't talk.
We don't talk.
Because then you're reactionary. You know, it's something sparks off and then you're exploding.
Yes.
And when you explode, you tell people who they are, as in, you are a cheat or you are this. You don't give them a chance to explain that, you know, this is, you know, like, I don't understand this kind of scenario. Now, that is a normal relationship. One who comes and says, I don't understand this. Please explain it to me.
Yeah.
I saw this kind of message. I didn't understand it. Who are you calling sweetheart? But for you, you're women, you know.
The moment you see something.
Yeah, it takes you back, over to the worst case scenario. Okay.
So that's how we are. Our mistrust is just beyond repair. We don't come to tables with someone and we talk about something or we resolve something. If I mistrust you, that means I think, no reason to sit down with you. Yes, so it's
But the problem is, such kind of attachment styles are also unforgiving.
Yes, they are unforgiving.
And they don't forget.
Unfortunately, it's you causing the trouble, but then you don't forgive.
That's the thing, because you have planted a seed in your head, you have drawn the pictures, you clearly and you have believed your own
Yes.
lie. So you believe your own lie, you impose it on another person. You call them a cheat, you call them, whichever it is. And then even when you decide and say, you know what, let's just jump over this hurdle and just continue with the relationship, down inside of you, there's a simmering kind of, you're still cooking up things, because then you're like, I'll get you. I'll get you, maybe not this time. So it's like you keep piling things after things, and that means you're perpetuating your own explosion.
True.
Later on in the days. And then after that, the reason is you give yourself a reason not to be attached.
Yes.
Because now all these things that are boiling underneath, how can you be attached when you clearly see that someone is a cheat, that someone is a womanizer, that someone is unfaithful, that someone... So all those things, it's like you are giving yourself a reason to actually break away with this person without any sense of attachment.
True.
And yet, you need them. You want them.
Yes.
What an irony. Okay, so apart from definitely the anger, we've not talked about the anger, but the overreaction it's flared by the anger.
Yes.
Because one of I think the indicators from all my years of therapy is the precipitating anger that never goes away. Okay, and insecurity.
Yes.
Like you're not enough.
You're not enough.
So I want you to tell me, in your own life, where did you see those things at play?
Mostly in my relationships, even way before, by the way. Yes, because I grew up knowing I'm not enough, maybe. Yes, you just don't like yourself. You don't like yourself. You don't like people. You feel so insecure around people. You feel like everyone is attacking you. You feel like maybe no one trusts you.
The whole world is
against you. So that insecurity, it brings a lot of issues in your life. So you end up sometimes doing wrong things just because of that insecurity. Yeah.
And where do you think the insecurity came from? Because maybe you can trace it back to your life somewhere.
Yes, I think the insecurity began from when I was way younger, because I lost my dad when I was in P5, and then my mom had already left. She's a Rwandese. She went back to Rwanda, so we were left with our stepmom. And then the stepmom was mistreating us, so we ended up going from homes to
relatives.
From relative to relative to look for, a shelter,
survival,
somewhere comfortable. So I think that's where the mistrust and the disorder began from, because we had no attachment to anyone. Because,
no sense of belonging.
Yes,
like
no
this
sense
is
of
home.
belonging. Yes, no one was there to give us that sense of a mother or a father. We were just around people who, in most cases, of course they care, but it's not that that attachment a mother will give a child. When you sit and talk to your child, when you sit and you advise your child, sometimes when you're a teenager, you need that support, your mother's support, your father's support. We never had all that. So as we were moving from homes to homes, I think that's where the disorder started from, and that's where the insecurities began to build up.
Because when you are a child and you are moving from home to home, at the back of your mind, I'm a visitor.
Yes.
At the back of your mind, I don't belong here. Sure. And sometimes they will even show it to your face that you actually don't belong.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen it play so much even in people that did not necessarily lose their parents, but maybe their parents left them under the care of a certain uncle.
Yes.
And maybe this girl, a lot was said unto them that, you know what, you don't belong here, or you're the one that does all the casual work, or you're the one that is... So every time you feel you have to prove a point, because then you need to eat, you need to sleep, you need clothes, you need to go to school. So you end up, so that creates a lot of insecurity, that creates a lack of sense of belonging, and I think the worst thing is it creates the lack of safety and security for you as a child. to grow the attachment, because how you grow the attachment is by being secure.
Yes.
That I know so and so, even when she beats me, she loves me.
She loves me, yes.
Even when she backs at me, she loves
loves
me.
me.
She does that because she wants me to be better.
Yes.
So you need security and safety in order to attach
Yeah.
to someone. Do you have anyone that you feel there's a sense of attachment, there's a sense of safety in your family?
Yeah, in the process of moving from homes to home, I got some little attachment to my grandmother.
Okay.
Yes. So I think because she gave me the shelter and food and...
Did you stay with her a longer time?
Yes, we
than
stayed.
everywhere else?
Yes, we stayed with her for a longer time than everywhere else. So I got attached to her. So she's the only person I feel so comfortable to share my problems with or to share something with her, because I think she has been
Even
there.
now?
Yes, even now, because she has been there. She has showed us that she can support, even though she's not our parent, but she's there. She can listen. She can advise you. She can, you know, she provided. So she gave us that comfort. Yes, that comfort we needed. So after some time, I learned to trust her. I learned.
So that's the grandmother from your father's side, from your mother's side?
Actually, she's not my grandmother, but we grew up calling her grandmother. She's my auntie, yes. But we grew up calling her grandmother because most of the kids at home were calling her grandmother. So we grew up calling her grandmother. So I feel more comfortable with her, yes.
So are you thankful at least for that one ray of hope? Because sometimes it takes one person to own up, to provide that security, even if it's not 100%. Because again, at the back of your mind, remember, you already have it. This is not where I belong.
Yes.
Even when I feel a bit safe here, finally, this is not where I belong. So even when you start getting too comfortable, there's a way you snap out of the comfort.
True.
On your own. And even when you tend to go out, maybe you've gone to school or you've gone to wherever it is, you're thinking, I should try and start my own life. I should try and fend for myself. I should try. I don't want to break anyone. I don't want to, you know, all those things. So you feel like there's an attachment there.
Yes, I actually thank God that she was there. She was so close to my dad, and I was so attached to my dad more than my mom, because my mom left when I was even more younger than that. So she was so attached to my dad. She loved my dad so much. So I thank God that I got the experience to get attached to her.
Are you still in touch with her?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Unfortunately, she's old. She's, I think, 83.
Oh, she is, yeah, indeed. Old.
But still, up to now, we still
You go and
sit
have some
yes,
conversations.
share, sleep on the same bed. So I feel so
Wow.
comfortable, and I thank God for her life.
Thank God for family.
Yeah.
Thank God for family. So you grow up, you discover that, okay, this is my root cause. Yes, I could have gotten someone that was a safe harbor for me, but a lot had already happened in my life, and a lot of insecurity was already created. And now you grow up to manifest these things in your life. When did you start relationships? Or not just intimate relationships, but even, you know, wanting to get attached to other people or form friendships?
I was, I think, in senior 2. Okay. That's when I started to, actually, it is a relationship, not sexually, sexual relationship, but it was a relationship with
Coupling.
yes, coupling. Unfortunately, the guy I was coupling with was not in school. Okay. He was older than me. Okay. So I was moving out of school, sneaking out of school just to go out and see him. Yes, I got so attached to him that I ended up messing my life somehow, somewhere. Unfortunately, I thank God for my auntie, my singer. She's a very talkative woman. She talks a lot and she's so prayerful. So every time you sit with her, she's always talking and talking and talking. So she used to talk to me. So afterwards, I realized, no, you know what? I think I'm taking a wrong turn. I need to come back.
Because of her words?
Because of her words, yes. Because of her words. And then every time we would sit with her, she would pray with us. We would pray, like, you don't do anything without praying. She's always praying and talking about
So you feel God's eyes looking at you.
So every time I would go out to do something wrong, I would feel like God is talking to me. My grandmother is watching. So I was lucky for her words. I came back to the right place, to the proper line. And then I went back, after dropping out of school, I went back to school. I studied and then finished campus. Yes.
Wow. So you see, and this is where sometimes when we talk to us, ourselves as parents, me inclusive, because I will not say to you, when I say these words, I also mean them for myself. I think the people that we tend to hate the most or during our teenage years, don't go to this party, don't do this, you know, and then they speak into your life and then they pray about you. You know, at that time you feel like, you know, they're really holding me. They don't want me to have a good life. But never stop planting those seeds. It could be words, could be prayers, could be fasting, could be anything. Never stop planting those seeds. You see, that when you teach a child in such ways that even when they grow up, they will never depart from them. And God corners them somewhere and brings them back on the right track like Sylvia did. And we're still together, so just get yourself a cup of coffee and maybe water. Come back, let's still continue with this conversation. Let's learn and grow.